Mr. Speaker, following the discovery of a secret, illegal Chinese biolab in California, I requested an investigation by the House. The Select Committee on the Chinese Communist Party recently released its highly disturbing report, and I commend the Select Committee and Chair Gallagher for getting to the bottom of many of the disturbing facts in play here. The lab was run, we've learned from the committee's report, by an international fugitive from China named Jesse Zhu. After running various state-connected companies in China, Mr. Zhu moved to Canada, where he set up dozens of corporations to, quote, steal valuable American intellectual property and unlawfully transfer it to China. The Supreme Court of British Columbia found he committed, quote, fraud on an epic scale, resulting in a $330 million judgment. So he then fled to America, assumed a new alias, David He, and set up several more companies, including the one behind this lab in Reedley, California. The lab was discovered nearly a year ago when a code inspector came upon a suspicious warehouse in Reedley. There was a hose out of the back of the warehouse. Inside, she found many Chinese nationals wearing white lab coats, glasses, masks, and latex gloves, along with thousands of vials of biological substances and 1,000 mice, some of which were actually found dead. It was later learned that these were transgenic mice genetically engineered to catch and carry the COVID-19 virus. A further inspection found blood tissue and other bodily fluid samples and serums, along with thousands of vials of selected biological material. Some of the vials were labeled with the names of infectious agents, while others were labeled in a code that was never deciphered. At first, the CDC refused to investigate. They even hung up on local officials who had called to ask for help when they learned about the lab. So the local representative got involved, and finally the CDC did do an inspection and found at least 20 potentially infectious agents, including HIV, tuberculosis, and the deadliest known form of malaria. Yet still, the CDC didn't bother to test any of these samples. They simply accepted what was on the label, or even if the contents were unknown, they didn't test it. Even if there was a code they couldn't decipher, they didn't test it. The committee said this made it impossible for them to fully assess the potential risks that this specific facility posed to the community. The Select Committee report calls this decision by the CDC, quote, baffling. Later, local officials discovered a refrigerator in the lab that had eluded the CDC that was labeled Ebola. Now, while the supposed purpose of the lab was to sell various medical test kits, in fact, all this company actually did was buy counterfeit kits from China and then resell them here in the United States. Thus, as the committee put it, there was a, quote, lack of apparent legitimate or even profit-motivated criminal motive in the operation of the illegal facility. So it raises the question, what was it there for? What was the true purpose of the facility? And this is especially pressing to ask, given that Jesse Zhu, the illegal operator of the lab, was receiving unexplained payments via wire transfer from Chinese banks. The report further notes that no one knows whether there are other unknown biolabs because there is no monitoring system in place. So it is very clear that we need further congressional action and investigation here. First of all, we need to examine the role of the CDC, which seemed to completely drop the ball here. Why did the CDC ignore local officials about the lab for months? Why didn't they test any samples from the thousands of vials with unclear or coded labels? How did they manage to miss a freezer that was actually labeled Ebola? And then we also have to ask, how did this lab escape detection? How many more such operations could there be in California and across the country? And finally, we need to learn more about what was the lab's true purpose. Why was it there? What was it planning on doing? Why is it that its operator was receiving so much money from China? These are questions that we need answers to, And it's also become clear that we need to update the monitoring and regulatory framework, which clearly has gaps because a facility like this was allowed to go undetected. In fact, it relocated several times and potentially posed a serious risk to the surrounding community. So I commend the work that was done by the Select Committee, and we need to move forward to make sure that we're doing everything we can to get to the bottom of what happened here and to keep our community.